Hi, my name is Gabriele Zocchi. I work at Hololight as Head of Product Development. Today, I would like to introduce you to Hololight Space, our immersive design and engineering review tool for complex CAD data. After starting the server, you can just wear your device, and with one click, you can immediately jump inside the application. The welcome screen is the first thing that a user will face when joining Hololight Space. The welcome screen helps you in quickly assess certain functionality so that you don't need to go through the whole interface. Import a file is, for example, the fastest thing you can do through the welcome screen. You have access to a file browser, you can navigate your folder structure, you can see all the folders and the different files that you have uploaded into your server side. And you can quickly browse the system, select one or multiple files, and proceed with the import. In alternative to the local drive, it's also possible to import assets directly from the NVIDIA Omniverse server. In Hololight Space, all the major CAD file systems are supported natively, therefore users can just select the file in their original format and proceed with the import. One of the most powerful tools inside Hololight Space is the loading cube. The loading cube is an easy way for the user to assess and visualize the file and its property before to confirm the loading in the space. This tool is very important because it allows, for example, to change the measurement system, to change the scaling factor, to work on the orientation of the file and fix all the options that usually during the export process could end up creating a different visualization of the same CAD file. After applying all the correction, with the preview button it's possible to quickly check and validate that the file match the expectation of the user. And with the confirm button, it's possible to finally load the file in the space. Looking at the palm of the hand, it's possible to trigger the Quick Access menu. In the Quick Access menu, there are all the functionality that make fast to perform some task in the application. In addition, the main menu is condensated in the main menu icon so that the user can trigger specific functionality for the software or assessing option for configuring the behavior of every single tool. For example, it's possible to select some of the other functionality and reassign one of the Quick Access menu functionality to make it easier and faster to perform certain action. The first menu a user could start to work with is the Space Manager. The Space Manager as a first duty shows the structure of the imported file. So the whole hierarchy read by the file format depending on the CAD system get displayed and is possible to navigate parts and groups. On top of the Space Manager, there are different functionalities that can be used for different purposes. For instance, if you want to be sure that you are positioning your object on the floor, you can just quickly select and trigger the drop to floor. This way, the file will be aligned with the floor you have set up during the initial setup of the device. The selection in Space Manager can be used also in combination with Quick Access functionality like the bounding box. This way, it's possible to move freely in the space the object without considering any physics applied to the model. To complete additional tasks, users can also load additional files in the same space. They can just browse the same structure and import different objects. For example, in this case, we are importing few tools that can be useful to perform ergonomic tests or workability. One of the characteristics of Hololight Space is to be a collaborative system. Therefore, you can just open the meeting menu and be able to invite other users to perform tasks together with you. Design review is one of the core process of Hololight Space. To be able to perform a correct design review, one of the most important characteristics is to be able to load your CAD file in scale 1:1 in order to identify design flaws and see every possible defect or mistake in the project itself. During a design review, one of the very challenging tasks when you're working with a very complex model is to be able to look inside the specific parts without disassembling them. In augmented reality or virtual reality in Hololight Space, it's possible to use a tool called cross-section. Cross-section is similar to the cutting plane of any CAD software application you can find on the market, but in this case is a three-dimensional object that can be easily positioned and scaled to fit your object. This is a very easy way to have real-time access to the inside of any object, and the alignment or the positioning of the file can be manually managed by the user at any point in time. A powerful and effective way to present a model to the stakeholders is using the model explosion. This functionality takes in real time apart the entire model and separate every single component. This way it's easy to identify a specific part or to visualize how the assembly has been done. To have a quick view to specific part of the model, it's also possible to hide parts that are covering details of it so that you can immediately find the details you were looking for. An additional way to focus on the details of the model is to enable the X-ray visualization mode. X-ray gives you the possibility to apply some transparency and, for example, enable the outline system. The outline system detects the edges of the geometry and focus on the line. For example, to be able to overlay specific design with physical parts to detect defects or design flaws. One of the typical use cases for the outline is, for example, to detect if the holes for bolts are matching between the design and the physical product. In this way, you can just compare the design and see if the position is correct to the millimeter. Another important tool for the design review is the annotation system. In the annotation system, you have different tools to immediately sketch over your 3D model in a 3D space. You can, for example, sketch a circle and highlight an area of the model you want to put in front of other users for review. Hololight Space has been designed to give the option to designers and engineers to recreate what they are used to do in real life. Therefore, use their hands to be able to manipulate every part of the object the way they will do when they are working. This way, ergonomic study become actually one of the most important process inside Hololight Space. You can literally use your hands to evaluate, for example, how to properly manipulate an object or how to work inside a narrow space in order to be able to assemble, disassemble, or repair any part of your product. In the past, the only way to perform an ergonomic task was to have the physical object at your disposal and try with your hands to see how much room you have, for example, to operate or manipulate any parts of the model. Now, with augmented reality and virtual reality, it's possible to detect intersection of your hands with a CAD file in an holographic view. It's possible to apply visual effect that will show the intersection point with mathematical precision in order to recreate the condition that you have when you work with a physical object. Ergonomic study can be extended also to additional tasks like workability. During workability, the user could be loading a tool and try to perform a task the very same way it will do with a normal physical object. In this case, for example, trying to operate a wrench key and see if there is enough room to screw a bolt in the position. To provide a more effective feedback about the ergonomic study, it's possible to combine also the visual effect of the collision detection together with the annotation system in order to highlight the area that needs to be revised and provide some text comment for the second user to visualize what to change. Last, it's also possible to attach to the collision detection the capture of the pose of the hand. This is creating a 3D representation of the hand in the exact pose of the simulation in order to review from different points of view the same detail. During design review, one of the most challenging tasks is to go through the iteration of different review of the same model or the same part of your model. In order to do that, usually you have to work with physical prototypes that they need to be reviewed in person. With XR technology, you can actually speed up this process, having a look directly to the design of your part in an immersive view with a holographic representation, and you can also compare easily different iterations in a much faster way. This way, your time to complete the process of reviewing the model
is way shorter and is more effective also from the perspective of costs.
After having perfectly stacked 2 iterations of the same design, it is possible to make a 3D comparison of the details that have been changed in the second iteration of the design. There are different ways to achieve that. For example, the A/B mode, in which the 2 parts have different colors, and with the separator you can in real time compare every single detail so that you can immediately identify all the changes in the design. A very important option of the A/B mode is the possibility to invert the prioritization of the visualization of details. This will make possible to highlight details that in the normal comparison will not be visible. For example, because some part is now smaller, therefore is included and embedded in the larger design.
Recently, we have started to introduce functionality like gravity and manipulation of rigid part inside our system. For example, you can transform a rigid body in a flexible part. This is becoming very useful if you want to redesign the pattern of your cables.
With physics, it's for example possible to select what is normally a rigid part designed by the CAD application and transform that in a flexible part. For example, cables or wires. It is possible to transform a rigid shape in something that can be manipulated and reorganized inside the model so that you can, for example, recreate the harness of the object.
Product development has always been a collaborative process. That's why in Hololight Space we have put collaboration at the core of our software. Multiple users can join the same session, share the same model, interact with it, and review it the way they will do in real life.
Collaboration is at the core of Hololight Space. Multiple users can join the same session, share the same model, and work independently on different parts of the model. Users with different devices can join a collaborative session, mixing augmented reality and virtual reality. During the review session, there are avatars identifying the different participants in the session, and depending on the device they are wearing, you can immediately identify if they are working with augmented reality or virtual reality. All the functionality of the software are available in collaboration mode, therefore everything from selecting, moving, or manipulating any part of the object can be performed in a concurrent way by all the users attending the same session.
In the last 8 years at Hololight, we have not been focusing only on developing software. We have been also learning from our customers and partners about their processes. Therefore, if you're looking for understanding how to properly deploy the software in your company and be effective with it, please get in touch with us. We will be happy to share our experience and discuss with you the best way to take advantage of Hololight Space.